All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun, and we're back talking comics. What comic specifically? Well, you clicked on it, so you should already know. But in case you need me to tell you again, it's the 50th birthday year for the old knucklehead himself, Logan, Wolverine, James Howlett, whatever you want to call him, Patch, Weapon X. And I started, I decided to start talking about every issue of Wolverine, starting with number one from 1988. Yes, I skipped the Frank Miller one because I don't own it. And I just wanted to start with what I already owned. But we already covered issue number one. These are the Madripoor days of Wolverine. And that's what we're continuing to discuss with issue number two today. So if you're liking the comic content or just the content in general and you've forgotten to hit subscribe all those times, well, now's your chance to hit subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for all that jazz. Anyway, so yes, it's still the 50th year anniversary, and we're still talking Wolverine. And this is another great issue by Claremont and Buscema, who introduced the Black Blade into the mix here for the first time, which will become eventually the Muramasa Blade, which I do believe is currently owned by Wolverine, I think. I know there was a whole bunch of stuff with Swords of X and a whole deal with who had it and how did Wolverine get it? Did he have to give it back? Did it get taken away from him again? I don't know. These kind of things are always going back and forth between owners. So I think Wolverine owns it right now. But this is the Madripoor days. This is the post Fall of the Mutant days where the X-Men are supposedly dead and they're trying to keep the world from knowing that they're not. And Wolverine, who, depending on which book you're in, he's either in Australia or in Madripoor. In the Madripoor days, he's undercover as Patch, working in Lowtown and trying to make sure that nobody recognizes him as Wolverine, which means he can't just pop his claws out whenever he wants to. People know who that guy is. So it forces him to deal with things in other ways. Now he still has his adamantium lace skeleton, so he still punches harder than a regular person, but his only power really is his healing factor and his ability to love. But so as we saw him in the first issue, he's not popping the claws. He's just using his animal instincts, his training, and everything else to try to track down a guy that has been captured by Madripoorian pirates. And how that goes, his friend dies, he finds out about the blade, and now he's on his way. In the last issue, he picks up Lindsay McCabe, who does know Wolverine, and he was a little worried that she would recognize him, but he wasn't in costume, and I don't know what Wolverine has that would make people go, "Oh, I don't recognize him." Like Clark Kent has his glasses. I don't know what Wolverine has other than not being in costume, not popping the claws. He's short. He's a short guy. He's shorter. He's like, I don't even know if he's 5 foot. And so, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to suspend your disbelief amongst your suspension of disbelief because you're reading a comic book. And Lindsay McCabe is there to find her friend Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew is the original Spider-Woman. And together, they basically run like a private investigation unit because back then in those days everything was about private detectives. There was even like what was that, Macmillan and Wife? There were so many different forms of, there were husband and wife investigators, there were sibling investigators, there were just strangers, there were shipping investigators, it was the 70s and 80s were just full of private eyes everywhere. And so, not to be outdone, Marvel had their own. I mean, Jessica Jones had her own private investigation thing, but I mean, the private eye thing had kind of died down. But an interesting thing for that character to do, especially with the origin that they gave her to get to the alias investigations period. But Lindsay McCabe, she's a Long Island girl. She's in B movies, and she's one of those people who's like trying to find more life experience. So she goes in to this Center for Emotional Studies called the Hatros Clinic, where she meets Jessica there. And after a while, they end up working together. She's like the office help, which always ends up tagging along on all those investigations, you know. And so that's who we're with in issue number 2. Is Wolverine's hanging out with Lindsay McCabe, who's trying to find Jessica Drew, who has been taken over by this Black Blade, as we'll find out. Now, if you were like looking at her book, this was stuff, I guess, that was already going on and then kind of spilled over here. Um, and over the course of this, we'll see what happens to these characters. Lindsay McCabe is written really fun, really interesting, definitely of the time. And again, it was like this, we're the private eyes, you know, like, but she's still like a fish out of water. She's a pretty blonde girl actress in a really bad area of the world. Place where they're just going to, like, you know, you can just disappear from places like this. But she's pretty brash and stands up for herself and definitely is in over her head, but doesn't act like she knows it. And if she doesn't know it, pretty she probably should wisen up. But throughout this issue, she learns a lot about being what it takes to be in Madripoor. So much that later on she co-owns the Princess Bar in Madripoor. So it's kind of fun how this character goes from being in Long Island to the owner of like a bar in Madripoor. That's kind of like a stand-in for like Casablanca, you know, the place where all the criminals go to like do their dealings, but it's kind of like a safe haven a little bit. But you got to know like how to work this place. The other part of this, like I said, is the Muramasa blade, which is right now the black blade. The Muramasa blade basically was made by the guy Muramasa, who is this crazy ass immortal madman who is also great with the sword, great with making swords. And when he made this blade, he put a piece of his soul in it, and it also had some other powers granted to like whoever had it. But it would also, if you held on to it too long, you'd be possessed by the soul in the blade, and it would give you like resistances to injuries and stuff like that. Think of any of the cursed swords in a D&D game, basically, right? And then the other aspect of this is we got I want to say his name is Kenuichio Harada, who is the Silver Samurai. Now, I was having a hard time trying to lock down who the original Silver Samurai was. And as far as I could tell, it is Kenuichio Harada, who first appeared in Daredevil number 111. And I guess my confusion was that because his father is Shinjin Yoshida, who's like Clan Yoshida, and he's the illegitimate son of that guy. And in the movie, it was Shinjin that was in the Silver Samurai outfit. So it made me think, is that the original Silver Samurai? But no, the original Silver Samurai is Harada, as far as I've been able to tell. If I'm still wrong about that, if I'm still missing some generation here, somebody fill me in on that. Because I know that like in the Wolverine movie, it was Shinjin in the Silver Samurai outfit. But it sounds like after like Shinjin was killed in the I think the original Frank Miller story. And then his illegitimate son Harada, he takes the Silver Samurai on. He gets that sword that he's a mutant, right? So Harada's a mutant, and he can generate energy fields channeled through inanimate objects. So he's made this sword that he carries around. It can go right through steel with like no resistance, and it's like dangerous even to Wolverine. It disrupts electronics and biological systems with energy. And I guess my only thing was which one was which, because he died, he came back in Krakoa, and then there was like other Shinjin Yoshidas, like the second and the third even, I think. But this is the original one. And even after killing like Silver Samurai's dad, in this issue, Wolverine and him are kind of come together. Like they're kind of forced together. They don't like each other. There's this kind of like respect, even though like if you look at Silver Samurai's like record of who he's worked with, he's less honor. I think they give his like his honor too much like honor. I think they honor it too much because I feel like he's a pretty dishonorable dude, man. Even though you hear somebody's backstory and everybody's the hero of their own story, right? But those are all the things that are going on in this issue of Wolverine, and I just really liked it. Look, it's from 1988. Some of this stuff is dated, but I love it just the same. And I just dig this side of like Wolverine having to be creative about how he solves things without the ability to just pop the claws whenever he feels like it. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like watching a character try to adapt to new situations. So with that in mind, let's get into Wolverine number 2. All right. So let's get into this book. Iconic cover. Now, again, there used to be these guys I would listen to on YouTube talk about weekly comics, and they would always complain about things that they show on the cover that didn't happen in the book. And does that make the cover any less cool? And they've been doing that forever, man. Look at this. Okay, so if you want to complain about comics today, they're doing it in this because this never this never happens in the book. Wolverine doesn't pop his claws out on Silver Samurai and start going at it. Okay, because he knows that he would be revealing himself to be Wolverine. So, but it's still an awesome cover. Make me want to buy it. Both characters are in it. So, and it's just exciting. Madripoor, Lowtown, name fits the place. In a lot of ways, it's the same today as 1,000 years ago, as far removed from modern civilization and sensibilities as a body can get. There are no rules here. Anything goes, provided you can pay the price. Possession is the law. A Stan Lee presentation starring Wolverine. Chris Claremont is the writer. John Buscema, penciler. Klaus Janson, inker. Glynis Oliver is the colorist. Tom Orzechowski is the letterer. Bob Harris is editor. And Tom DeFalco is editor-in-chief. I'm Rob. That's Lindsay McCabe. Not the sort of neighborhood you expect to find an all-American girl like Lindsay McCabe. But she's here nonetheless, looking for her private eye partner and best friend, Jessica Drew. Kid's got guts. Trouble is, in a dump like this, courage don't count for much. She's young, she's blonde, she's clean. That makes her flamin' near unique in Lowtown, a pearl beyond price. Moment she's inside, local joy boys make their move. She doesn't need to know the language to understand what's being said, or that they won't take no for an answer. Which is where I come in. Kids with me. That a problem for you boys? Didn't think so. Nice crowd. I warned you not to come. This is where our contact arranged to meet Jesse. How bad can it be? Don't answer, okay? Brains too. Gotta give her credit. She knows now that Contact was an imposter, which means he chose here because it's an ideal place to take the merchandise and leave the courier's body behind. Cops won't do anything about it. Locals won't care. He is your usual, Patch. I'll have the same. I'd reconsider that if I were you. You figure I can't handle it? A body should know its limitations, miss. And test them, mister. Every chance it gets. Your funeral. How special, sweetie. Drink it and drop. We'll see. We sure will. Whoops. Need a hand, sweetie? No way. I can make it back up. On my own. Whew, wow, nice kick. Tasty too. Same again, okay? What are you trying to prove? Whatever I have to. I don't believe it. Aside from me, Patch is the only one that could ever handle that concoction. You should hang around movie crews on location. There are real hard case boozers. One time, shooting in Baja, they came up with homebrew that makes this taste like milk. Of course, having a misspent suburban youth helps. If it isn't a trade secret, what's in it? Little of this, little of that, some gin, some vodka, scotch for kick, soda for color, plus, yeah, how'd you know? That's Long Island iced tea. Rite of passage in high school was getting sick as dogs on that stuff. You from around there, sweetie? Massapequa Burner High. Amityville High. Why, we're practically neighbors. I'm Belle. Lindsay, hey, you know the boathouse on Merrick Road? Do I ever? Why, I once. Hate to interrupt class reunion, ladies, but some of us are here on business. Yeah, right. Sorry, forgot. Later, Belle, okay? What's our next move, Patch? You stay down here while I look for Jessica. The heck I will. I'm coming with you, bub. You girl are doing what you're told. Listen to yourself. You're more than halfway's looped. I run into trouble I can't afford a zoned out space cadet at my back. Sure way to get someone killed. Belle, I'm trusting you. You look after her. No problem, Patch. She'll be fine. Of all the macho, arrogant, who the heck do you think you are, bub? That's making me wonder, did she coin bub? I don't think so. But she says it a lot. Probably the best friend you'll ever have in this town, sweetie. I don't need him. I can take care of myself. Hey, what you doing? On second thought, Belle, can you tend bar? I'm a professional actress. Some days it feels like I was born tending bar. It's how you pay the bills between gigs. Then hop on over. As soon done as said. Where's Patch? He should see this. I'll show him. Oh! Okay, can somebody explain to me that drawing? Because that looks like her head's coming through the. She's bent in a way that just doesn't seem right. Very nice, dear. Definitely Olympic caliber. Wow, guess I am bombed. Sorry I made a mess. I am a mess. So first we clean you up, and then you clean this up. Patch. People call me. As good a name as any, since I can't use my own. World believes Wolverine to be dead. Ain't about to change that notion. For me, this caper began with a skyjacked 747 and a dying friend. Cult of the Black Blade. Fanatics. Stop at nothing to regain their sacred talisman. Couriers. Bringing it from America. In deadly danger. Local pirates had been hired to bring down the plane. In the process, they slaughtered most of the passengers and crew. I put them out of business. The next day at Madripoor International, when the States flight arrived, I was waiting. Courier turned out to be Lindsay. Bad Joss. She knew me from the old days. If she recognized me as Wolverine, my cover would be totally blown. By the way things turned out, I had to take the chance. The cult was waiting at her hotel. Without me, they'd have kidnapped her, or worse. So here I am, middle of the flaming night, cruising this flea pit joy house, trying to spot a scent I barely remember. And I'm hoping that when I find Jessica Drew, who was actually carrying the talisman while Lindsay played the decoy, she'll be alive and whole. But as it turns out, I don't need Jesse's scent to tell me which is the right room. or that I'm too late. In the hands of a master, there's probably no deadlier single combat weapon in the world in all history than the Dai Katana, the Japanese samurai sword. These bravos learned that the hard way. Now it's my turn to follow in their footsteps and face the lion in its den. But before anything can happen, Krakow! If you value your life, Gaijin, stand aside and interfere no longer in affairs that are none of your concern. I know the armor, I know the weapon, I know the man, only too well. Keniuchio Harada, the Silver Samurai. Worse, he knows me and hates my guts. Just what this caper flamin' needs. Got no idea what he wants with the Muramasa sword. Don't much care either. I'm not about to let him take it. Problem is, world believes me as Wolverine, along with the rest of the X-Men, to be dead. That's how we want things. Samurai recognizes me, our cover's blown, so I can't fight like myself. Coom. Problem with that is, any less than my best gives Harada the advantage. He's a mutant, same as me. My power is a healing factor. His is to channel energy through his sword blade. That enables it to cut through anything, including he likes to boast my adamantium-laced skeleton. One way to end this quick and sure before it goes that far. I could pop my claws. He won't be expecting that. He'll be dead before he knows it. But he's a warrior, and in his own way, an honorable man, like me. So I fight fair and pay the price. There's more to that Gaijin than meets the eye. He's not low-town trash like these slaughtered curs. But a foe worthy of respect. Slam! The Black Blade is mine, samurai, and any who try to take it from me shall pay for their effrontery with their lives, with their immortal souls. Meanwhile, downstairs... Okay, I am going to hate myself so much when I sober up, assuming I survive the experience. Some outfit. What you see is all I got. But what all I got, I gotta admit, ain't bad. Crash! What the? Hey, a fight! Join in, take sides, take bets. For all thy skill, samurai, thy vaunted power, thou art no more a match for me than those others. Holy cow, that's Jessica! Why's she dressed like that and talking so strangely? What happened to Patch? Jessica Drew, hear me. I've no wish to harm you. Words will not save you, fool, and that name is of no more import to the mistress of the Black Blade. They mean business. Rock the place. Ain't worth my neck to play the hero. Let me out of here. Let 'em. Gangway. Black Blade outfit in town's offering serious bucks for it. No questions asked. They fight pretty good, Roof. That's why they call a gun an equalizer, Roscoe. Having one makes all the difference in a world. Only dog if you know how to use it. Pew, pew, pew. Impossible. He blocked my... Ah! Give me the blade, Missy. With pleasure. The legends, they're true. All who wield that accursed blade are possessed, demons made flesh. Consumed by an unquenchable bloodlust, save for the warrior, chosen by fate to be its master. And once forged, the only way that terrible bond can be broken is by the death of the host. No, samurai, you can't. Lindsay, stay out of this, girl. Don't get involved. I had to, Belle. She's my best friend. No longer. Thy friend is as dead as thou shalt soon be. Guess again, darling. Patch! Figured you'd seen the last of me, did ya? Not hardly. Thanks to the adamantium laced through my bones, a punch from me is pretty near the same as being hit by solid steel. So this should, son of a gun, a wasted effort, fool. For thou art mortal, and I have become far, far more. What now, hotshot? Hardly pulled that punch. Didn't phase her a bit. Samurai ain't faring much better. I'm a loner by nature and profession. I don't have many friends. Means I tend to cherish the few I make. Jessica Drew's on that list. But if her personality, herself, her soul has been consumed by the sword, then killing her not only becomes necessary, it's an act of mercy. Snicked. But in the meantime, until I know for sure I got other cards to play, fight's cleared the bar. There's no one to see me use my claws. They'll cut anything. So it's no problem at all to end the fight by bringing down the house. Blessed Amaterasu! I figure the samurai's armor will protect him. Won't break my heart if it doesn't. I'm gambling whatever force is supercharging Jess will protect her too. It does. Real well. She isn't even scratched. In the blink of an eye, she's up a wall and gone. You okay, McCabe? Who lowered the boom? Lowtown's as ratty as it is old. Don't take too much to bring a building down. Jessica, she may be trapped. No such luck. Stay put. I'll follow her trail. And when you find her, I'll do what I have to. Like I said, a smart girl. She knows what I mean. I only hope she has sense enough not to interfere. Somebody's pinned under the rubble. Hey, I could use a hand here clearing away this mess. Nice crowd. All they do is watch and make remarks. Same to you, fellas. Dress is so tight, I can hardly breathe or bend over. Oh boy, the samurai sword. And surprise, surprise, the man himself. Remember me? Your lady friend Viper nearly killed me, and the pair of you tried your best to do the same to Jessie. In Spider-Woman's number 42 through 44. Bob before my time harass. Where's your partner? We have parted company. To me, she is as one dead. Then maybe you should join her. Schwack. Trouble is, I don't have a killer instinct. You spared my life. I'm already regretting it. My sword, if you please. A life for a life, samurai. Jessica's for yours. Miss McCabe, the floor, collapsing. I have you. A life for a life, Miss McCabe. Now we stand even. Funny how that works in comics, right? Like heck we do. Why are you here? What do you want? The Black Blade. No more. No less. All I want is Jessica back. The way she was. Alive and whole. You know not what you ask. I don't care. You are in no position to make demands, and in less of one to enforce them. Try me. Do you want me to beg? Fine. Name your price. Oh, spit. Great. Just when they're not needed, the cops arrive. Go with them. This is warrior's work. Oh, spare me. You are mad, woman. You betcha. Come on, let's scram while we can. Let's jinx it. It's the cops. In the old days, Jess had superpowers, went by the name Spider-Woman. She had strength, agility. She stuck to walls and ceilings, plus had some other handy talent. Grapevine said she lost them all a while back. In Avengers number 241. Big flamin' deal. Same grapevine says the X-Men are dead. Which makes this caper that much more dangerous. I thought I had killed thee upstairs at the bar. Sword cut me deep, bleeding stopped, but it still hurts like sin. You tried. You aren't the first. This time, warrior, I'll make certain. Jess doesn't move like herself. She comes at me with the stance, the grace of a samurai. Can't help wondering what went into that blade to make it able to do this. If I do nothing else, I swear I'll smash that sword to bits. Of course, to do that, I have to be alive. It's her or me. I know that now. The realization cuts deeper, hurts more than her flaming blade. Will nothing stop thee, warrior? Only the same thing that will you, lady. Death. Thou must speak thyself, dog. I am eternal. I can never die. Only the vessel is mortal. When one is used up, I simply wait to find another. My adamantium claws don't even chip her blade. Indeed, they strike sparks that ignite the sawdust on the floor. Warehouse is piled high with flammables. When they catch, place will go up like a bomb. Couldn't care less. There's a part of me I don't let surface often, though sometimes I can't stop it. That's more animal than man. A wild berserker rage that wipes away all rationality. When it hits, I'm consumed as wholly and completely as the Black Blade has Jessica. I kill pure and simply. Until there's nobody left to kill. It takes me now. Maybe Jess realizes that. Because she rabbits for the roof. I'm right behind her, which is exactly what she wants. Skin breaks, bones don't. She tries again, which is exactly what I want. Ouch. First, I'll take the blade from her. Yoink. Then the life. Later, when I'm sane again, I'll grieve. But such spirit I have never known. Rejoice, warrior, for thou and I are fated to be one. No! No! Why fight, devil man? What in thy heart and soul? Thou knowest thine own desire. There on the roof. Samurai, we found them. But look at Jessica. Oh, my lord, we're too late. True, Lindsay, but I fear. Not in the way you think. Let the world tremble. Let all who live beware. For at long last the Black Blade has a master worthy of the name. And with this woman's sacrifice, that bond that's been forged can never be broken. Next, the Black Blade. Dun dun dun. There's a Sienkiewicz little gallery picture there. Very bizarre. Makes me think of Fear and Loathing. And that, dear viewers, is what Wolverine #3 is gonna look like. Looks like Wolverine's wearing like armor, maybe the Silver Samurai armor. I don't know. Is he looking to sacrifice Lindsay McCabe there? And who is shooting at him with that rifle? I don't know. Those are all questions that will be answered in the next issue. So, like I said, this is a lot of fun. I love reading this. This is the second time I've read it now, and I hadn't read it in years. Really, it's been like at least probably 20 years since I've read that book. since the other day when I read it again. And I don't know. I'm digging it. It's Wolverine trying to figure out how to deal with problems without showing his hand, making him do other things. Plus, I mean, I'm digging Lindsay McCabe. I'm digging the whole Muramasa blade, and I'm wondering, is this going to be like one of the first times where we see where his like healing factor actually is like a help to fight off somebody trying to take him over? But that will have to wait till next time. So, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, all that stuff and jazz and blah, blah, blah. We'll be back with more comic talk sooner rather than later. So don't forget, everybody, keep reading comics, keep supporting your local comic book shops, be good to each other, and I'll see y'all on the next video, bub. Bye. Ba, 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 bum. Ba, bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ba, 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 bum.